Have you ever walked out to your garden excited to pick a fresh, juicy tomato, only to find it half-eaten by a disgusting green worm? It is completely heartbreaking. You spend hours watering, weeding, and caring for your plants, and pests just treat it like an all-you-can-eat buffet. But what if I told you the chemical sprays sold at the store are actually a massive scam? You do not need to poison your food to protect it. Today, we are diving into the ultimate secret of organic gardening. I am going to reveal 7 specific plants that act as natural, living shields for your garden. By the end of this video, you will know exactly how to turn your vegetable beds into a pest-proof fortress using nothing but the power of nature. We are going to look at everyday flowers and herbs that possess incredible hidden defensive powers. I promise you, once you learn how to pair these plants together, you will never look at your garden the same way again. Are you currently using chemical bug sprays, or do you prefer natural methods? Let me know in the comments right now, because this is a debate we need to settle. Get ready to discover the secret weapons hiding in plain sight. Let us take a quick trip back in time to understand how this all started. Long before chemical companies existed, our ancestors knew how to grow massive amounts of food without toxic sprays. They relied on a brilliant system called companion planting. The most famous historical example comes from Native American agriculture. They used a system called the Three Sisters. They planted corn, beans, and squash together in the exact same mound of dirt. The corn provided a tall stalk for the beans to climb. The beans pulled nitrogen from the air to feed the soil, and the large spiky leaves of the squash covered the ground, blocking weeds and keeping pests away. It was a perfect, self-sustaining community. They understood that plants in nature do not grow in isolated, lonely rows. They grow in diverse families. They communicate, share resources, and protect each other from danger. Today, modern science is finally catching up and proving what these ancient farmers knew all along. Plants release chemical signals into the air and the soil. Some signals invite friends, while other signals repel enemies. By understanding this ancient wisdom, we can turn our modern backyards into thriving, self-protecting ecosystems. It is time to work with nature instead of constantly fighting against it. Have you ever noticed those bright orange flowers planted next to tomatoes? Let us start with the absolute king of companion planting. We are talking about marigolds. Many people think these are just pretty decorations for the garden. But what is really hiding behind these bright petals? Marigolds are actually fierce warriors protecting your soil. They release a strong scent that completely confuses flying insects. But their real magic happens underground. Have you ever pulled up a dying plant and found the roots covered in strange bumps? That is the work of root knot nematodes. They are microscopic worms that destroy your harvest. Marigolds produce a natural chemical in their roots that acts as a deadly trap for these worms. Think of it as an invisible underground electric fence. If you plant marigolds alongside your tomatoes or potatoes, you are creating a fortress. I want you to picture a tomato plant growing tall and heavy with red fruit, completely untouched by pests, simply because a tiny orange flower is standing guard nearby. It is totally amazing. You do not need expensive soil treatments. You just need a few seeds of this incredibly cheap flower. And let us debunk a quick myth right now. Some people say marigolds attract spider mites. That only happens if the plant is completely dried out and stressed. If you water them normally, they are the ultimate garden bodyguards. So next time you plan your garden beds, make sure these orange warriors are at the top of your list. Now let us move on to something that smells absolutely delicious. Have you ever wondered why basil and tomatoes are always paired together in cooking? Well, it turns out they are best friends in the garden, too. This is not just a coincidence for your pizza or pasta. Let us break down exactly how basil acts as a powerful shield. Basil has a very intense aroma. To us, it smells like a perfect summer dinner, but to pests, it smells like a nightmare. The strong oils in basil leaves confuse pests that rely on their sense of smell to find their favorite food. Let me give you a bright illustration. Imagine a tomato hornworm. This is a massive green caterpillar that can strip a tomato plant bare in a single night. When this pest is flying around looking for a place to lay its eggs, the smell of the tomato plant acts like a giant neon sign. But if you plant basil right at the base of the tomato, the smell of the basil acts like a thick fog. The insect gets confused, cannot find the tomato, and flies away to someone else's garden. Plus, basil is known to repel mosquitoes and flies. So while you're out there watering your plants in the evening, you will not get eaten alive by bugs. There is a common myth that planting basil makes your tomatoes taste sweeter. While scientists debate the flavor change, the absolute truth is that basil keeps your tomatoes alive long enough for you to actually eat them. It is a win for your garden and a massive win for your kitchen. So what happens when the bugs are already in your garden? Let me introduce you to the ultimate sacrifice plant. We are talking about nasturtiums. These are beautiful trailing plants with bright red and yellow flowers. But their job is actually quite brutal. Nasturtiums are what gardeners call a trap crop. What does that mean exactly? Well, let us look at the sneaky aphid. Aphids love to suck the life out of your precious vegetables, especially your beans and cabbages. But aphids absolutely love nasturtiums even more. If given the choice, they will always attack the nasturtium first. Imagine throwing a fancy steak to a hungry dog. To keep it away from your sandwich, that is exactly what you're doing here. You plant nasturtiums a short distance away from your most valuable crops. The aphids will swarm the nasturtium leaves, completely covering them. Your cabbages will stay completely clean and healthy. Once the nasturtium is covered in bugs, you can simply pull it out and throw it in the trash. You have just removed thousands of pests without spraying a single drop of poison. It is brilliant. Some beginners think that attracting bugs to the garden is a terrible mistake. This is a huge myth. You actually want to control where the bugs go. By giving them a delicious alternative, you protect the food you actually want to put on your dinner table. And as a bonus, the flowers of nasturtiums are completely edible. They add a spicy kick to your summer salads. Let us switch gears and talk about a plant that fights off almost everything. You already know that garlic keeps vampires away in the movies, but did you know it is just as terrifying to garden pests? Garlic is one of the most powerful natural repellents you can possibly grow. It all comes down to sulfur. Garlic accumulates high amounts of sulfur from the soil. This gives it that sharp, spicy smell and taste. When you plant garlic near your other crops, it creates an invisible wall of odor. Let us picture a beautiful rose bush. Roses are famous for getting completely destroyed by aphids, Japanese beetles, and ants. But if you plant a ring of garlic around the base of your rosebush, you will see a miracle happen. The pests simply cannot stand the smell. They will approach the bush, hit that wall of garlic scent, and immediately turn around. It works just as beautifully next to your fruit trees to keep borers away. There is a big misconception out there that you have to crush the garlic to make it work. That is completely false. Simply having the garlic growing and breathing in the soil is enough to drive the bugs crazy. And the best part is that garlic takes up almost no space. You can easily squeeze it in between your larger plants. So you get a massive harvest of delicious garlic bulbs for your kitchen, and you get free round-the-clock security for your delicate flowers and vegetables. It is the ultimate double-duty plant for smart gardeners. Now we need to talk about a plant that is incredibly powerful, but comes with a massive warning label. Let us discuss the magic of mint. Mint is a heavyweight champion when it comes to keeping your garden safe. It is packed with strong essential oils, mainly menthol. This scent is refreshing to us, but it is pure toxic gas to things like ants, cabbage moths, and even mice. If you have a problem with ants farming aphids on your plants, mint is your best weapon. Picture an army of ants marching toward your vegetable bed. If they encounter a wall of mint, the menthol completely overloads their tiny scent receptors. They lose their trail and wander off in confusion. It is like trying to find your way through a thick forest completely blindfolded. But here is the critical part you must remember. Mint is a bully. If you plant it directly in the ground, it will spread like wildfire. It will send out runners under the soil and choke out every other plant in its path. So how do you use this power safely? The trick is to keep your mint in pots. You place these pots strategically around your garden, especially near your broccoli and cabbage. You get all the pest-fighting benefits without the hostile takeover of your garden beds. Many people think mint is just for making tea or cocktails. Let us crush that myth today. Mint is a highly tactical defense system for your vegetables. Just remember to keep it contained in a pot, and it will serve you well. Let us take a moment to look at a plant that brings beauty, incredible fragrance, and serious protection. I am talking about lavender. When you walk past a lavender bush, you feel instantly relaxed. But for many garden pests, lavender is highly stressful. It is particularly famous for driving away fleas, ticks, and even mice. If you live in an area where ticks are a serious concern, lavender is your new best friend. Imagine creating a protective border around your patio or the edges of your garden beds. You are creating a safe zone for your pets and your family. The secret lies in a compound called linalool, which is found in lavender oils. While bugs hate it, this plant has another secret weapon. It is an absolute magnet for beneficial insects. Bees and butterflies cannot resist it. But more importantly, it attracts hoverflies. Hoverflies might look like tiny bees, but they are actually vicious predators. Their larvae roam around your garden eating hundreds of aphids every single week. So lavender plays a brilliant double game. It kicks the bad bugs out while inviting the good bugs to stay for dinner. A lot of folks believe lavender only grows in hot, dry climates like the Mediterranean. That is simply not true. There are many hardy varieties of lavender that can survive freezing winters. You just need to make sure they have well-draining soil. Add some sand or gravel to the planting hole and your lavender will thrive and protect your yard for years. Are you ready for the heavy artillery of organic gardening? Let us talk about chrysanthemums. These are not just those pretty flowers you buy in the fall to decorate your front porch. They are actually a biological weapon against a huge variety of pests. Chrysanthemums contain a natural chemical compound called pyrethrin. This word might sound familiar to you. That is because pyrethrin is the main ingredient in many commercial organic bug sprays. It attacks the nervous system of insects. It paralyzes them and stops them from feeding on your plants. Imagine you have a terrible problem with Japanese beetles or root nematodes. Planting chrysanthemums nearby acts like a natural force field. The bugs sense the chemical and avoid the area completely. Think about the money you will save. Instead of buying expensive organic sprays at the garden center, you are growing the active ingredient right in your soil for pennies. Many people think that all flowers are just passive decorations. That is a dangerous myth for pests. Chrysanthemums actively fight back against invaders. They protect themselves and everything planted near them. To get the best results, you want to scatter them throughout your vegetable beds, not just keep them in a single flower patch. Mix them in with your peppers and eggplants. They will stand guard day and night. Plus, when the season is ending, you get a massive burst of beautiful colors, right? When everything else is starting to fade. Now that you know the players, let us talk about the game plan. Simply throwing these plants randomly into the dirt is not enough. You have to master the strategy of placement. This is where the real magic of companion planting happens. Think of your garden like a medieval castle. You do not put all your guards in one room, you spread them out along the walls. The same goes for your protective plants. You need to create scent barriers. Let us imagine the wind blowing across your yard. If you plant all your strong-smelling herbs on the side where the wind starts, the breeze will carry that confusing scent across your entire garden. It forms a massive, invisible cloud of protection. The bad bugs flying in will hit this wall of smell and turn around before they even see your tomatoes. You also need to think about vertical space. Planting low-growing protectors like nasturtiums under tall climbing beans creates a multi-level defense system. One protects the roots while the other climbs high. A very common mistake is planting things way too close together. People think packing them tight makes the barrier stronger. This is a myth. Plants need air circulation. If you crowd them, you create a damp environment that invites mold and disease. You must give them enough room to breathe. When you space them correctly and use the wind to your advantage, your garden becomes an organized, pest-proof fortress. But what is actually happening beneath the surface? We cannot talk about healthy plants without talking about the soil. Here is a massive truth bomb for you. Pests do not just attack randomly. They specifically target weak and stressed plants. It is like a lion hunting the slowest zebra in the herd. If your soil is dead, your plants will be weak, and bugs will attack them without mercy. But companion planting actually fixes the soil from the inside out. Let us look at a hidden world. Underneath the dirt, the roots of your companion plants are talking to each other. They share nutrients through tiny fungal networks called mycorrhizae. For example, some plants pull deep minerals up to the surface. Other plants fix nitrogen from the air and push it into the ground. When you mix different species together, you create a rich, balanced diet for the whole garden. Imagine eating nothing but white bread for a month. you would get sick. That is what happens when you plant just one type of vegetable in a big row. But when you mix tomatoes, basil, marigolds, and garlic, you're giving your soil a full vitamin boost. The vegetables grow thick cell walls and strong stems. When a bug tries to take a bite, it actually struggles to chew through the tough leaves. A healthy plant can literally fight off a minor bug attack on its own. So remember, building strong soil through plant diversity is your absolute first line of defense. Finally, let us discuss the ultimate goal of organic pest control. You do not want to just repel the bad guys. You want to build an army to hunt them down. This is the secret power of beneficial predators. You see, when you stop using toxic chemical sprays, a wonderful thing happens. The good bugs come back. And these good bugs are hungry. We are talking about ladybugs, lacewings, praying mantises, and parasitic wasps. These tiny creatures are the true heroes of your garden. Let me paint a picture for you. You spot a cluster of green aphids destroying your cucumber plant. You might panic. But if you have planted a diverse mix of companion plants, help is already on the way. A single ladybug can eat up to 5,000 aphids in its lifetime. It is like having a tiny flying vacuum cleaner, specifically designed to clean up your pest problems. By planting things like yarrow, dill, and fennel alongside the 7 plants we discussed, you provide nectar and pollen for these predators when there are no pests to eat. It keeps them living in your yard permanently. There is a huge myth that a healthy garden has 0 bugs. That is totally impossible and actually dangerous. A truly healthy garden is swarming with life. It is an active battlefield where the good guys are constantly keeping the bad guys under control. You are basically managing a balanced ecosystem. Once you set this system up, nature does all the hard work for you, completely for free. So, what is the ultimate takeaway from all this green magic? The biggest plot twist in gardening is that nature has already solved all of our pest problems millions of years ago. We just forgot how to listen. By planting things like marigolds, basil, nasturtiums, garlic, mint, lavender, and chrysanthemums, you're not just making your garden look pretty. You're deploying a highly advanced biological defense system. These 7 plants confuse, repel, and trap the worst garden villains, all while building healthier soil and attracting a loyal army of beneficial bugs. You save money, you protect your local environment, and most importantly, you get to eat clean, chemical-free food straight from your own backyard. It is an absolute game changer for anyone who wants to grow food successfully. Thank you so much for watching and spending your time with me today. If this video blew your mind and gave you some great ideas, please hit that like button right now. It really helps the channel grow. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss our next organic gardening masterclass. Now, I have a big question for you. Which of these 7 companion plants are you going to add to your garden first? Drop your answer in the comments below and let us get a great discussion going. See you in the next video.